least when I was like in my 20s, I had youth on my side. So even though I wasn't particularly good looking, I wasn't really all that bad. Like I still had kind of a cute face.
I'm 33 and single, and every single person in my life, and by every single person, I literally mean every single person in my life is dating.
If I was a single lady in my 30s and I wanted to meet you, where would be the best place to go?
Empty, sad, and desperate. Their lives are so empty without a man. That's the difference. Men know having a woman by their side is optional. Even if they grow old and alone, they can live their lives being content. But these women can't accept that they weren't chosen by a man.
I'm 33 and single, and every single person in my life, and by every single person, I literally mean every single person in my life is dating, married, engaged, or has kids. So I am kind of like out on my own right now, and so I am trying to find a community on TikTok where people are in their 30s. They are maybe not married, don't know if they want to have kids, maybe they're just trying to figure out what they want out of life still, which is fine, by the way. If you are in your 30s, it is okay to be happy and single, which it feels like most people on the internet make it look like that's not possible, and I'm telling you it is, because I am very, very fulfilled and happy, but I still would like a relationship. Like, if somebody offered me the perfect person right now and it's like, this is your person, I'd be like, finally, that's so great. I've been waiting for you. But I still just want to have people that are in a similar stage in life, because I just don't have that in my real life. And so if you are that person, comment where you're from, comment if you're single, let me know and give me a follow, because again, I'm trying to build that community here on TikTok because I don't have it in my real life.
Notice how many times she contradicted herself? She says she's very fulfilled and happy, adds that she would still like a relationship, and that she's finding a community of people like her. That's not someone who is at peace. That's someone coping while still wanting the outcome. This is what happens when the options keep narrowing. She's trying to announce to the world that her situation is a choice, not a result of not being chosen. The fucked up part is that she's looking for other people to normalize it with.
Single women over 40, I have a question for you and I need an answer. What are we doing about dating? Are we dating? Are we using apps? Are we using Facebook groups? Are we going to random dance clubs? Like, I don't know. Like, what are we doing about dating? Are we dating? Are we never dating again? Because, you know, it's days like today when the bins need to get taken out, where I really think to myself, maybe I need a man.
Dating in your 30s becomes literally just like looking for a breeding partner. Like, it's like you're going to a sperm donor bank and like lining up the genetics and just like choosing who you want to be your future children's dad. Like, you've already been through all the cute stages in your 20s, like saying I love you and going on your like first dates and trips together. Like, I don't want to meet your parents. Like, I do, but like, it's not cute anymore. Like, and then like waiting for the milestones and like falling and like seeing what happens. Like, no, are our kids gonna turn out cute? Are they gonna be smart, athletic? Like, are we gonna like make a good couple and like last forever? And like, then I'll get to know you and like, hopefully, you know, we get along great and like it lasts forever. But first things first, like, again, it's just not cute anymore. Like, but you never settle. You never settle. It's not like before where you go in blindly.
You kind of can see why some women will grow old alone. They see relationships as a transaction. They need a man to do this. They need a man to do that. They want a man because they need things done for them. And what would that lucky man get in return? Regret and hatred.
Where do single men between the ages of 28 and 40 go on Saturdays? And I don't mean like a specific restaurant or a specific location. I mean, generally speaking. Are they at the gym? Are they at a bar watching football? Are they on a hike? Are they at home doing additional work? Are they at the driving range? Are they getting brunch with their friends? What does a 28 to 40-year-old single man's typical Saturday look like? Because I can tell you what a Saturday for a 28 to 40-year-old single woman looks like. As part of my like fall of outdoors, I'm trying to integrate experiences where I get to meet the male species. Every time that I've tried to do that, the places that I end up tend to be proliferated with 24-year-old men screaming at a television about football. For example, my Saturday looks like this. I wake up, I take my dog on a walk, I try to get in a gym class of some sort, Pilates, some kind of stretching class, I take a shower, make a cup of coffee, make my breakfast, and then I try and do about 2 hours of either work or personal like errands. And then from about 12 p.m. until approximately 5 p.m., I try and do something social with my friends. We'll go to a bar to watch a football game, go to the beach for the afternoon, whatnot. And then I typically stay in on Saturday night, order in DoorDash, watch a movie, have a glass of wine, and go to bed. That's the male equivalent of that, so I know where to find you guys during the period of 12 to 5.
Okay, I have a question for single men in their 30s who have their lives together and just haven't found the one yet for some reason. So if I was a single lady in my 30s and I wanted to meet you, where would be the best place to go? Just asking for a friend. Please let me know in the comments. Thanks.
How are you guys getting into relationships like one after the other? I can't even find one person to date. I have standards and I stick to them and nobody ever meets them. Slim pickings out here, I swear. Guys these days don't even do the bare minimum. Bare minimum, I mean, just be nice and just act like a gentleman and just compliment me maybe every once in a while. It's not like I'm asking for too much, or am I? I wouldn't say that I'm like particularly a relationship person, but I also don't get like how people get in relationships all the time. My sisters, for example, always in a relationship. But then I ask myself, like, how? How do you do it? If you can relate, let me know. I'm the type of person that is almost never in a relationship. I mean, I'm 30 now. Now I'm starting to think, am I too picky? Are my standards too high? Definitely not lowering my standards because I have, specific things that I look for in a partner. Is it asking too much? Let me know what you think in the comments. That's it. Bye.
Men aren't necessarily hiding from women. They're just done chasing women. There's no need to waste time and effort for something that's not going to return the favor. Women are still expecting that men will serve them, that men will listen when they talk, and that men will go to wars for them.
Dating in your early 20s versus dating in your late 20s, and honestly even in your mid 20s, it kind of puts like a very different lens on what you look at. And I was just thinking of like going back to even like teenage years, early 20s, whatever. When you meet someone, you find someone that you like, it's pretty largely, at least for me, it was to do with like, do I find this person attractive? Yes. Okay. And the rest will figure itself out. Once you get older, that feature becomes less and less important. Not to say that it's not important, but it's like one single part, and it makes everything so much harder. And it makes you put into perspective when you are young and dating that you truly do just grow with a person and hope really for the best, because you're a lot of the time just going based on the fact that you're in close proximity to each other and you both relatively like how each other looks. And that's it. And as you get older, you become so much more picky. And that's probably why people don't or try to steer away from dating maybe significantly older, because then your criteria just goes up and up and up. Because you start to, I guess, not only look at different things because your life just becomes more serious in general, but you become someone more valuable yourself. And so you try to find someone that's at least going to like meet you at the level that you are. But it's so interesting to see like the difference in what you actually look at and the types of people you actually will give your time to, and how different that really is within like a 5-year time span. Crazy.
Thank you for that stupid TED Talk. She's trying to describe maturity, but what's actually coming out of her mouth is that she's raising her standards as the options shrink. She's trying to frame herself as becoming more valuable, but it's just because at her current age, she can't take the same risks anymore like when she was in her early 20s. The more picky you get, the smaller your pool gets. Good luck with your life.
As a single person over the age of 30, something that helped my mental health way more than any dating advice I've ever gotten has been remembering that people often give advice that reinforces their own life choices. And no, this is not everyone, but it is often an unintentional consequence of the social script and what the general population sees as someone who is like a thriving, quote unquote, normal adult. A lot of people will subconsciously assume that you're unhappy just because you're different or you're more of an outlier. And this can look like people saying, oh, give him another chance, even if you already know that you're not interested, or recommending that you just put yourself out there more, go on multiple dates a week. My best advice for this is to remember that meeting someone, if you are looking to meet someone, is very often by luck and timing. And just because this quote unquote strategy worked for them definitely does not mean that it'll work for you. The absolute best thing you can do is take what works for you and leave the rest, especially as it relates to your mental health, while also continuously trying to flip that social script and reminding people that you are doing absolutely fine and you do not need another person to complete your life. Happiness is not a reflection of being chosen by a man. I make relatable content for women who are single over the age of 30, so if you find this helpful or validating, be sure to follow along.
For those of us that don't have the benefit of being conventionally attractive, how are we handling aging? Because I feel like at least when I was like in my 20s, I had youth on my side. So even though I wasn't particularly good looking, I wasn't really all that bad. Like I still had kind of a cute face. And that's pretty much gone now. Now that I'm 40, the cute is gone. And I don't know how to hit, cause like these lines are getting deep. I'm getting lines around my eyes and in my forehead, and I've got gray hair. I've got a lot going on. But like, are we doing this gracefully? Are we aging gracefully and just letting the ugly take over? Or are we doing things to kind of reduce the visibility of our aging process? Are we dyeing our hair? Are we wearing a lot of makeup? Like, how are we handling this?
Y'all, so I was on Instagram and I seen somebody I know celebrating their 4-year girlfriend anniversary. Like, you know, been a girlfriend for 4 years and we in our 30s, you know what I'm saying? And I just like to say, after 2 years, I'm not celebrating no goddamn girlfriend and boyfriend anniversary in my 30s. I'm just not doing it, okay? Because do you know you have 30 minutes? 30, yes. Yes, I'm not. You make a decision and you better make it quickly. Because if you think I'm gonna be in my 30s, keep parading around year after year, it's our anniversary, I'm a girlfriend again, I made it another year, bitch, I'm 30, ho. Hell no, make a decision and make it quickly, because you have 30 minutes to decide what you finna do, because it don't even take you that long to decide what you finna do with me. We've been in this for enough years. We're in our 30s. I'm not doing that. Making a mockery out of me online got me parading around being a girlfriend. Cause girl, why the hell is I'm sitting around being a girlfriend for that long in my 30s anyhow? You don't know what you want to do with me? That's fine. Next.
I'm 38 and I've never been somebody's girlfriend. Not even once. Not even a little bit. I've had situationships. I've had almosts. I've had confusion, mixed signals, ghosting, and men that acted like they liked me until it required effort. But an actual relationship? No, never. And I know for some people that sounds shocking or dramatic or like I sound desperate. It's even a little embarrassing to say it out loud. I didn't admit it for a really long time because I was embarrassed never having had a boyfriend. But this is actually the reality of a lot of women. When people hear single, they assume that's recent. And it's like, no, babe, like historically. And for a long time, I let that make me feel like something was wrong with me. Like I missed a class that everyone else took on how to be lovable. I am done acting like my life hasn't started because I've never been picked. So if this sounds like you, or you just want to follow along on this journey of mine and learning to be happy with or without a relationship, welcome. As always, love you, mean it.
There's men on the dating apps that are talking about how they want to be active all the time and all they want to do is hunt and fish and be on the lake 24 hours a day, and they like to run and do marathons, and they don't like to sit still, and they like to be busy all the time and just go, and they have a big group of friends and blah blah blah. You're not for me, and that's fine, because I'm probably not for you. Because if I was to list off my hobbies, if that's all that my dating profile, just a list of my hobbies, it would go something like this: napping, shopping, going through the car wash, making TikTok, being antisocial. I'm kind of obsessed with doing laundry. I take a lot of things back to UPS for Amazon. That's kind of my social hour. I like to get my nails done at least every 2 weeks and a pedicure. So if you can keep up with that, then we're golden. But I'm not gonna be able to keep up with you in your marathons and your circles of friends that do all kinds of shit, because I'm 52 and I'm just ready to slow down. I'm not ready to be faster. I just don't see how I'm ever gonna have any luck on these dating apps because of this situation. So are guys really that busy? Do they really want to go? Where are the men that want to just come home make a nice dinner, go for a walk, watch some TV, and go to bed. Where are the men that want leisurely weekend trips and don't want to out watching sports and eating appetizers with their friends and everybody every night, or going to parties constantly, or at the lake 24 hours a day? Because I'm just not that person. I'm not really hopeful that I'm going to find somebody that is a little more like chill.
So I think I just had the shortest date of my life. Ugh. Okay, so we met at the park, and we started chatting 2 weeks ago. We had a lot of conversation initially, and then he got his kids back this week, and he did say that he doesn't really talk when he has his kids. His kids are older teenagers, like 15 and 18, and then he has one at college. He confirmed the date last night. I thought he was cute. We just met. Again, 3 inches shorter than what he said he did. I swear to God, I'm never believing another man that says he's 5'11". Never fucking doing it. Never fucking gonna believe that. Period. Amen. Never gonna believe it. He's super thin, but fit, but super thin. I felt like a fucking giant. I wore 3-inch heels because those are the shoes that worked with my outfit. And we walked around the park, and before we got done with the first round, it's a small park. It's the park from the guy the other day that we had such a great first date with the Christmas lights. I wanted to leave, and we walked around 3 more times, and we were going to go get dinner, and I was like, this isn't it, and I'm so sorry. And he was sweet, but he was very introverted, and I know that can change, but we were like clamoring to find some conversation, and I yawned a couple times. So I'm done. I look so cute. I should go out, but I don't drink. I don't know what to do. Okay, but look at these earrings. How pretty are these earrings? Anyway, have a good one. Bye.
I'm 55, and if you're in your 30s, I hope you hear this now and not later. You can love your job and still fantasize about quitting every Monday. You're not overthinking. You're finally thinking at the level your problems require. Your biggest fear should not be failure. It should be wasting more time on the wrong things. The hardest pill to swallow is that most of your problems are your choices. Some people are addicted to struggle, and they will try to recruit you. You can't logic someone out of a position they didn't logic themselves into. You can miss someone and know they were still bad for you. You can be grateful and still want more. Gratitude is not a cap on ambition. You're not too sensitive. They're just too comfortable being insensitive. Your 30s are when you realize half your stress comes from trying to manage other people's emotions. You're allowed to be disappointed in people without trying to fix them. Learn the difference between being kind and being convenient. Your biggest glow up is realizing you don't have to respond to every invitation, every opinion, or every opportunity. Document your growth. You'll need the evidence on the hard days. Invest in your health like you invest in your retirement, consistently and early. Seek God first. Everything else aligns after that. And build a life that feels good on the inside, not just one that looks good on the outside. And you don't have to pretend to like wine just because you're an adult. Hope that helps.
Why are men posting photos that are like 15 years apart on their dating apps? So I just swiped through your hairline's disappearance in chronological order. First pick, 2025, strong, mysterious. Second pick, 2009, Ed Hardy shirt, emo hair, holding a Red Bull like it's part of your personality. Why am I on a historical tour? If your hair left in 2012, just say that. I respect honesty. I don't need the origin story. And the wild part is the expectations on women to have the perfect photos, showing just enough skin. I get it. We all peaked in our 20s, but you can't stay there forever. And especially if you want to move on and actually find love today.
I have a question. How do you date in your 50s? And I've been watching TikToks. There's always the dating ones, and it doesn't seem like anyone's faring very well. And I know the dating apps are not the way to go. I actually perused them a couple times the last couple weeks. That's not going to be the way to go. And I've lived in a van for over 3 years, so that was not conducive to dating. And before that, my brother passed away, and so going through that and COVID and everything else. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't have high hopes. I don't think anybody else knows, but I thought I would put it out there. When you're younger, you go in places, you go into bars or festivals or whatever and meeting people, and that just isn't my life. I'm in bed by 10 o'clock. I work really hard. I'm taking care of my mom, taking care of her stuff. She's 95. My daughter's 23, so she's grown. And I'm looking for, I don't want somebody who thinks that they have to take care of me. They don't. I can take care of myself, or lead me. I can lead myself. I was thinking what I'm looking for is somebody who is a good friend, because your friends don't think that they can solve your problems, or they aren't like jealous of anything, and they're just there for an ear and to hang out with. But I want a friend who I'm attracted to, and somebody who's laid back. I don't really want somebody who's type A, somebody who's works 80 hours a week. Well, sometimes you have to just because you're trying to make it. But I'm talking about that's your main focus, is that. Because I'm going to be 59 in a month. And I want to have traveled cross country by myself for over the past 3 years. And I'd like to travel internationally. I'd like to live on a farm. I don't know, is that too much to ask? Anyway, just putting it out there. Anybody have any suggestions? And I know, becoming part of a group, maybe a running club, something like that. I just don't have the time for that. I'm working a lot myself. So, yeah, I don't know. Any suggestions? You let me know. What's worked for you? Could hang out in Menards. I love hanging out in Menards. I'm kind of a DIY kind of gal. I redid my whole van myself. I love Menards. I love Home Depot. And I'm not adverse at this point in my life to going up and talking to somebody. But what do you even say, to break a conversation? As a guy, what would, and then how do you get from there to there? Because people are so... I don't know, we're so into ourselves, and I think we're so used to being alone after COVID that, we're kind of leery of things, or we don't know how to socialize anymore because we're on this thing, thinking we're socializing. Anyway, okay, any ideas would be helpful. Thank you, and have a great day.